Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. Welcome into our live broadcast here where we're going to have coverage of the storms as they roll through central and southeastern Kentucky. If you haven't heard already, there is an alert day out today for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, perhaps even up to 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and small to medium-sized hail. We're going to take a look at the live radar, look at the forecast, see if there's any changes that would need to be made. If you are just not tuning in here, of course, tap that share button for me at the bottom portion of your screen. We do have 2 severe warnings in Kentucky at this time. I'll let you know where those are at. But again, as you guys coming in, make sure you're saying hello, of course, and letting us know, or hitting that share button for us. Sorry, my brain's kind of all over the place here. But let's go ahead and pull up our main screen here. Actually, I'm just going to go full display since it's an alert day video. We do have 2 severe warnings currently active. One for the Louisville metro area going into southern Indiana. That is for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Not really a hell threat with that one. And then one for the other side of Louisville down toward Valley Station, toward West Point, approaching northern portions of Radcliffe. That one is for 60-mile-per-hour winds as well. I can also let you know that down here toward Elizabethtown and Radcliffe, 45 to 55-mile-per-hour winds are currently taking place as well. So currently just below severe levels there. And this is what we talked about on our live broadcast just a little bit ago, is that this line on the northern side will continue to pulse up and down. And as it does, will pose isolated threats of damaging wind burst. So if you're anywhere in Louisville to northern Hardin County toward Bullitt County out there, you're likely hearing some nice wind gusts going on there. Down here towards southeastern Kentucky, toward the Corbin and Linden and Somerset areas going down toward Harlan, I do anticipate that a severe thunderstorm watch will likely come out soon for that area. A little bit better ingredients going on down there over the last hour. It's kind of trending up in that area towards southeastern Kentucky. So I'm not quite sure why there's not one already out there, but nonetheless, we're watching that area as well for some potential development. But overall, over the next, let's say, hour or so, it's this area, just the northern portions of Hardin County over toward, let's say, Frankfort, and this area up in northeastern Kentucky. Those are the ones to kind of watch at the moment as this line begins to start tilting and moving a little bit more east rather than southeast. And when that happens, the line will continue to, like I said, pulse up and down. This is not where the better energy is. The better energy is actually down here once again toward the Somerset, Corbin by my camera, down here toward I-75. This is where the actual better energy is. But this area up here is a little bit closer to what we call the lifting region, and that's why some of these storms are being able to go over severe minimums. So that's current radar there. If you missed our update earlier today, it's kind of the same thing for now as well. Alert day outlook from 2 p.m. This is our update at that time. Storms are beginning to grow now and last through the evening. That's from 2 p.m. Scattered clusters of thunderstorms are possible even outside the shaded area through tonight. Primary alert, damaging winds, flash flooding, and hail, 2%, which is a very low tornado risk in West Kentucky. Obviously, that never really happened. We never really felt like it was going to happen either, but given the amount of storms that we were seeing today, we had to throw at least a little risk out there. Earlier today, we expanded the alert area to the east slightly, given the current mesoanalysis. Then that is the case. It keeps sliding a little bit more east every time. We could honestly we could shade in the bottom portion of southeastern Kentucky, but at this point, you're just kind of splitting hairs. So that was our update from 2 p.m. today. If you missed it earlier as well, I did show the SPC's forecast for today. It hasn't changed. Slight risk 2 out of 5 for pretty much all of Kentucky outside of far eastern Kentucky, but at this point, again, they're not going to because it's already occurring. But at this point, you could just honestly put all of Kentucky in a 2 out of 5 risk in that yellow zone. Again, main hazards being damaging winds, locally medium-sized hail, and flash flooding is becoming a big concern, especially down there in southern Kentucky. Let me go ahead and show you some of the rainfall totals just since midnight. And these are likely a little bit old. So last check-in in Adair County, they're probably over 3 inches by this point. Over here toward Russell County, they're probably over 3 inches at this point as well. Down here toward Cumberland County, probably approaching 3 inches at this point. So more rain to come behind it. We're actually fixing to put this post out here in a little bit here. Here's our update for tomorrow morning, Thursday morning from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. No severe weather expected with this. However, just a lot more rainfall coming on. So alert day might go out for tomorrow morning for the simple fact of flash flooding, which is technically a severe event in some cases. So alert day might be coming out for Thursday morning once again, mainly for south central Kentucky where flash flooding is likely to occur. at times throughout the morning there. So if you're just not tuning in here with us, welcome in. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. We do have 2 severe warnings currently active. One for the Metro Louisville area going into downtown Indiana up toward the Sellersburg and Charlestown area. And then one down here for Valley Station, West Point, going down toward northern portions of Hardin County for West Point. Brandenburg included in that as well. Looking at 60-mile-per-hour winds is the main primary hazard there. Once again, we are also watching the southeastern portion of the state. Currently, it's kind of staying tamed, but there is a better pocket of energy down here to the I-75 corridor, just to the east of Monticello. This area's got a little bit better wind shear. Wind shear is going to help the storm to be able to root a little bit more and cause it to be a little bit stronger. This is where that better wind shear is. So we're keeping a close eye on it. So far, things are staying tame down there. But again, keeping an eye on it. So the 2 main focus areas at this time, once again, down here for that southeastern corner. And then along that line, and just to the portions of the east of it. I think by the time it gets to Lexington, for those of you that are tuning in from the Lexington metro area or anywhere near it, this line should calm down quite a bit, because by the time it gets there, it'll probably be around 9:30, 10 o'clock, because these storms aren't moving extremely fast. And by that point, you're running out of that. You're running out of that peak heating. You're running out of that energy, and there's already very minimal amounts of energy up there in northern Kentucky. So I don't think we're looking at any big risk east of, like, let's say Lexington. But from the line to Lexington, this line continually pulls up and down. Matter of fact, I think they're moving at a speed. What was it last time I checked? Yeah, 25 mile per hour. So they're moving at the same speed that you drive through your neighborhood at. If you're driving responsibly. So they're not moving very fast. So that's another reason for the flash flooding threat. Again, especially down there from folks like Campbellsville to Columbia to Monticello to Bowling Green, especially with tomorrow morning's round of rain. Not maybe necessarily tonight. There are a couple of flash flooding warnings out, and that is for northern Monticello toward Perksville. But I expect that tomorrow morning, when that round of rain comes through from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m., that more flash flood warnings can go out. Special weather statements now issued for this central Kentucky portion of the area, north central Kentucky. Again, it looks like it's behind the line, but it's behind the line in some places where the actual better wind gusts are. For those of you that are asking about tornado threats, I think the tornado threat right now for everyone in Kentucky is about 1%. Genuinely, I don't think we're worried about any tornadic activity tonight. We haven't pushed the tornado narrative at all this past week for this event. I'm not pushing it tonight. I don't think the tornado threat is a real thing for tonight. I really don't. And that's the main reason why we remain in a 2 out of 5 risk instead of anything else. But just pulling up the other radar here, just kind of looking at we can go ahead and take some measurements of the winds, just kind of get you guys a better view of what's going on. Let's go ahead and pull up our velocity here. And we can just take our measurement scope and just kind of look around here. And we'll look at and see what kind of like the wind gusts are looking like here. So right here, we have to pull this up. So that's going to be 5 to 6 mile per hour, and then add that to that. So looks like maybe 55, 60 mile per hour wind gust in that severe warning cell. I'm not seeing a big amount of wind gust up here. 16 plus 11, that says 37, but it's got to be more than that because they issued that warning up there. So radar might be a little bit behind, but overall, it looks like 45 to 65 mile per hour wind gusts are the main threat right now, basically from folks to Vine Grove to Irvington, up there toward Louisville area, Jeffersontown, Shepherdsville, including that as well, and everyone in between. That's the main threat at this time. Looks like the northern part of the line is beginning to die down because it looks like they're going to go with a special weather statement instead of a severe warning. So that downtown Louisville metro area, looks like your threat is beginning to die down a smidge. We're still going to keep an eye on this one right here. And again, just to the south of those areas, so like places like Radcliffe, Irvington, down toward Vine Grove, Big Spring, that area, even though you're not severe warned, you're probably seeing about 45 to 55 mile per hour wind gusts on the backside of this, because the best winds above our head are just behind the line, kind of shaped like this. They're just behind the line everywhere. And they kind of come in front of it right here, and they kind of dip in front, and they come back behind. So what's happening is on the backside of these storms are getting shoved. They're getting shoved. And as a result of that, some of the winds, because we have so much downdraft available, some of the winds are able to make it to the ground on the backside of these lines. So it's not necessarily the front side that's more of the worry, where you get the heavy rainfall and all the lightning that we're seeing. It's more the backside of the lines that are making kind of the noise, if you will. So that's kind of the overall look at what we're looking at right now. Let's get to some of your questions. Yeah, Dylan, I think you guys are good. I don't think you guys are going to see anything until tomorrow morning. Everyone's risk will start to die down around 10 p.m. Eastern time. For those of you asking about timing, generally not at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, Tammy, we need to stay weather aware all the way through Sunday, really. No, Tanya, no rotation anywhere, really. Darby, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope it gets better for you. Thank you to everyone that's hitting the share button. We appreciate all of your all shares. Thank you for helping us spread our information out. Jenna, looks like there's a strong thunderstorm right now. Probably in about an hour and a half in Frankfurt, Madison. Yeah, Chrissy, a couple severe warnings up there. Look out for some strong wind gust. Oh my goodness, wind gust going on up there. If you're on the side of if you're driving or anything like that, make sure you're staying inside. With these wind bursts, you can get pushed over pretty easily. Looks like 60-mile-per-hour winds the main threat up there in Louisville. Albany, Kentucky, no severe threat. I think you just had so much rain. You just had so much rain down there. It's really helping to taper off the severe hazards in that area. So I don't think we're really expecting to see a whole lot more there. Just a lot of rain, a lot of rain. Shelbyville, same threat as everyone else up there. Looking at a possible severe storm coming through there in about an hour or within the hour. Kelly says, not weather related. Sorry. How's your wife doing? I hope all is well with her and the baby. Yeah, she's doing great. We actually, while we were on the break there in between broadcasts, I had the radar on the phone, so don't worry, I was watching. But we were outside walking around. We were doing some labor exercises, trying to get things moving naturally. CMAC on YouTube says seems to be moving pretty quickly. They're actually moving extremely slow, about 25 mile per hour, which is really slow for a complex of storms. Mary, thank you for that share. I appreciate that. Yeah, Christy mentions scary lightning and thunder in Breckenridge. There's a lot of lightning out there tonight, guys, because the amount of cape that we have. You guys felt it today. When you walked outside, it was hot, it was muggy. Just to let you know already right there's a lot of cape in the environment. It basically stands for buoyancy, which is basically a measurement of energy in the atmosphere. Because of that, there's a lot of lightning with these storms. So they sound and look a lot worse than what they actually are. Fort Knox is a strong thunderstorm. Hey Chris, he's doing great. He's doing great. He's just being stubborn. He's just being stubborn like his mama. Doesn't want to get out of there. Today we actually hit the 40-week marker. So today's actually his due date. But he's just kind of hanging out in there, just kind of waiting for things to move around. Yeah, and so that's Ernie. So that's the case. Is these things are going to sound a lot worse and look a lot worse than what they actually are. I promise. The only area that we're watching right now at the moment for the current threat is up here for Metro Louisville, going toward Brandenburg, West Point, and Valley Station. Those are your two areas that are under severe warning. Once again, both for 60-mile-per-hour winds. No real hail threat with those. There might be some very small hail, but nothing really crazy. Down here towards southeastern Kentucky remains to be the place where we see the better energy when we go look at all the nerdy weather stuff. But that's kind of staying tamed for the most part down there. Shaka, I appreciate that. Definitely just some strong thunderstorm activity. Don't see anything tornadic or super life threatening out there. I think you're good. Should be good to go. ATA and Radcliffe, it's there now. Yeah, Laura, I'm looking out the window here in Radcliffe, and the wind is. I mean, we're not severe warm, so it's not severe winds, but it was definitely looking like it was trying to get pretty close there for a little bit. The reason that we didn't go severe in Radcliffe, I know we have a lot of Radcliffe and E-Town folks here, so let me talk on this for a second. So the reason that Radcliffe and Elizabethtown did not go severe is because all this rain, let me go ahead, let me see if I can actually put this in motion. Perfect. So it's not going to let me pause it, but if you look at that, see how it's more of a line, and then we just had rain kind of funnel up. Watch this one more time. Line, right? And watch the rain just funnel up. That's what we call cold pooling. And that's where a lot of these storms are producing so much heavy rainfall because they're cold pooling. And what that does is just make a massive wall of rain. And so what that's done is help to keep Radcliffe and Elizabethtown under that severe level. So it sounds scary outside. It looks scary. Even if you definitely some wind burst, but nothing severe. And because of the amount of rain that's coming right now, I don't expect it to get severe, but we'll keep an eye on it. In fact, they canceled the special weather statement out there as well. So just way too much rainfall for this system to really get going today. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. Tompkinsville, just some strong thunderstorm activity. Berea, Kentucky, you're quite a bit far east of the actual main line right now, and it looks like you're just getting an absolute ton of rainfall down there. I don't expect you're a little bit too far east of this line, and you're a little bit too far north of that line. So you're kind of in a spot where just some strong thunderstorm activity may take place throughout the rest of the overnight hours here, but don't expect anything real severe out there. Now, again, guys, if you're just not tuning in here with us, we do have a post going out here in a little bit. If I can show you, I've lost it. I don't know where it's at. Oh, here it is. This post is going to go out here in a little bit on our medias. Now this is for Thursday morning. This is 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time. Don't expect anything hazardous or severe with this. It's just more heavy rainfall. So we might have to put an alert day out tomorrow morning or tonight for tomorrow morning for South Central Kentucky for them just the flash flood threat alone is, I mean, you're talking about a potential for 4 to 6 inches of rain within a 12-hour period or 14-hour period. That's quite a bit of rainfall that fast. It doesn't sound like a lot of rain to a lot of folks, but for context, if you were to convert that rain to snow, that would be on a average scale 40 to 60 inches of snow. So that's a lot of rain for a 14-hour period. So flash flood threat is absolutely real for places like Columbia to Campbellsville to Monticello, even back toward Glasgow, maybe even Bowling Green as well, where those folks have already hit the 2 to 3 inch marker on the rain just from this round. Laura, thank you for your 50 stars. I appreciate your donation. Thank you so much. Bowling Green, Kentucky, I don't think you're having any severe threat for the rest of the night, just some more rain showers. Ashlyn, you're way too far east, in my opinion, for anything, anything significant. I think you're just looking at strong thunderstorm activity close to around midnight. Just started in Barstown. Thank you so much. Yeah, Nelson County, I don't think you're looking at anything real severe, just strong thunderstorm activity. Now, again, guys, just remember, these storms are going to sound and look a lot worse than what they actually are here. But I want to give you a real quick recap if you're just not tuning in here with us. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. We do have 2 severe warnings active right now. One for the metro Louisville area going to southern Indiana, and then another one for the southern Louisville area, Valley Station to West Point. That area, or both cells are actually, I'm sorry, both warnings are actually for 60-mile-per-hour winds for both of those locations. No, thank you for the update there. I appreciate that. London, Kentucky, got to be on the lookout for these storms that are coming from Somerset. Might pose a marginal severe risk, but overall, I don't expect anything super hazardous. At most, 60, 65 mile per hour wind gust in the worst cell, but that's not a guarantee. That's just a chance. So, again, be on the lookout, but I don't think we're looking at anything super hazardous. CJ, I appreciate that update there from Corbin and Whitley County. Again, that's an area where we're kind of just watching pretty closely just to make sure nothing gets too crazy. So this area down here between London and Corbin, there is the best energy mixing here. So if there were to be, anything severe, like really severe, this would be the area for that to occur. But as of now, it's just been kind of tamed. It's been kind of tamed, and honestly, the more that this rain moves in, the less your chances get for severe weather because that rain is just going to tape everything down. But you can kind of see the winds at the back of this. So again, it's not necessarily the front side. Now for these cells in Louisville, it is the front side. But for a lot of folks on, outside of Louisville, it's the back side of these storms that are going to have the wind punch with it because the winds above our head, they're getting going, but they're actually situated behind the line. So what it's doing is just kind of shoving. And that's why you kind of see all this jaggedness. See all this jaggedness on the back side of the line where all that green's kind of notching in? That's because these storms are getting shoved. So we might get a few wind bursts on the back side of this line. Dylan, I appreciate that update there. Yeah, Linda, strong storm activity expected in Lexington in a couple of hours, but I don't expect anything, super hazardous. Williamsburg is still watching that place for the chance for severe weather, but at this time, the more that rain keeps moving in, the less that severe chance gets. So strong thunderstorm activity expected through the late night hours. Shania, thank you for the update there. Appreciate you in Vine Grove. When will we know more about Sunday? That's a great question, Megan. So we're really I mean, as soon as this one gets done, that's when we're going to start to focus a whole lot more on Sunday. Now, if you guys have not heard or lived under a rock, Sunday is probably the highest threat day we've had since early May. Um, Now, there's still a lot of details that need to be ironed out, like specific locations, timing, what exactly the threats look like. But overall, the early signals are there for a pretty severe event on Sunday. So once this gets over, and then of course, as we get a little bit closer, we got to kind of wait until probably Friday to have a much better idea. Because we have to get closer. We have to have those short range models start to come in and give us a better idea. They have the better resolutions. So probably start around Friday. Now, again, we're looking at it right now. We're going to start pushing it probably tomorrow morning. But kind of just really have to wait till Friday, get those short range models in here so they can kind of give us a better idea. Sorry, the winds are just knocking those trees around out there. We get a better idea of what to expect. But yeah, thank you, Ivy, for that comment. We do recommend that if you have any Memorial Day plans on Sunday, to just go ahead and cancel them. Because we're looking at multiple rounds of storms. Even if they're not severe, they're going to be at the least very, very strong. And talk about multiple rounds, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one at night. I don't see a window where you're going to be able to get your activities and your parties and your fun in for Memorial Day if you're celebrating on Sunday, of course. So I wouldn't even waste my time or money or waste anyone's travel. Don't plan for anything on Sunday. Shane, it's not weakening just yet. It's pulsing up and down, so it'll weaken for a little bit and then pulse back up and create more strong wind gusts, and then it'll pulse back down. So it's pulsing. Man, it is pouring outside. Ew. I hate this kind of weather. I really do. Like, in my opinion, maybe this is just the weather nerd coming out of me, but I'd rather have a strong storm or nothing dangerous, nothing life threatening, of course. But I hate when it just pours rain. I can't stand it. It's like, why are you raining? Then at least give me something to look at. If you don't know where that big W and K circle is, that's where I'm at. It's just pouring. Ugh, I hate this kind of weather. Yeah, and that could also be shading the gaps in the radar too. So like if we switch to a different radar here, you see those gaps filling a little bit more. So we have different radars we could choose from. So all these, let me go ahead and turn it on. All these dots that you're seeing are all different radars that we could choose from. So most of them are just radar gaps that you're seeing. Yeah, Matt Grace. I don't think there's any severe threat anymore there for Bowling Green. Thank you for that report from London. I appreciate that. Georgetown, strong thunderstorm activity expected here in about 90 minutes to 2 hours. I don't really see any type of imminent threat though. Yeah, human light rain's fine, but just pouring like this out there, I don't like it. It annoys me. Cooler weather behind this. It's a great question. I do think we cool down a smidge for tomorrow, but Friday we start to warm back up. Saturday we're getting warmer. Sunday it's going to be hot, and then we have that storm system. I do think by Monday or Tuesday of next week we do start to cool back down, and you can start saving some more money on the AC bills because I know a lot of the ACs have been running lately. Radcliffe, just strong thunderstorm activity. Don't expect severe weather. Same thing for Milton, Kentucky. All right, I don't see any imminent threats. To be quite honest with you, so you guys know that on alert days, I like to reserve the live broadcast for imminent threats, so but when we're live, it's something imminent. I don't see an imminent threat right now. Again, we're continuing to watch up there near the northern portions of central Kentucky, around Louisville to Radcliffe to Frankfort to Lexington. That line up there will continue to pulse up and down, and then again down there toward Corbin, down toward the Tennessee border. Best spot of energy, but at this time the storms are staying tamed. So we'll continue to watch here from the behind the desk. But at this time, I think it's important for us to get off the broadcast so you guys know whenever we are live, there is something inclement to worry about. At this point, for everyone in Kentucky, not just a certain amount of people, but everyone, I don't see anything real inclement. And of course, the moment that there is, we'll be right back here live for you guys. So make sure you have your notifications turned on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're at. We appreciate you all hanging out here with us. I don't think, again, there's any imminent threat at the moment. We'll post radar updates, of course, on our Facebook and on our Twitter, at WeatherNowKY on Twitter, at WKWX on Facebook. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. If I did not answer your question, I'm sorry about that. There's all kinds of forecast info on the page. Until next time, stay safe, Kentucky.